Welcome, everyone, to Isaac Has Laryngitis, the movie review show where I sit here alone and speed bun. The movie review show where. Welcome, everyone, to Isaac Has Laryngitis, the movie review show where I sit here alone and speed run a bunch of movies that we saw during the time where Isaac is sick and will not be joining us on the podcast. Now, he assured me that he's feeling better and will be joining for the next podcast, hopefully, if we ever get to it. But right now I have three movies. We've kind of hit a dry spell for not only movies in general at the movie theater, but anything that's worth our time. Honestly, we've just been hitting like stinker after stinker after stinker release and like nothing that's even worth seeing at this point. But we have a couple horror movies for October posed next time, and Isaac will be back for that. But today we are looking at three movies. We'll be taking a look at The Long Walk, Caught Stealing, and then my brother and I had the misfortune of seeing Run. To start us off with The Long Walk, I gotta say I was pretty impressed with the acting in this movie, but I felt I was left a little short. Okay, this is something that definitely would have benefited from being like an HBO Max series, you know, like a drawn out show actually, because then you would get more time to spend with each of the characters. You could explore flashbacks with everyone else, because honestly, outside of the four main boys, you don't get to know anybody or like experience any of the personality, and even within the four you don't get a whole lot of that. So anytime anyone like died, I was just like, well, yeah, there's only gonna be one, so people are gonna die. That guy's not gonna live. Okay, there's two like real main characters here, and there's two like secondary main characters. The two secondary main characters aren't gonna live. I know that. It's kind of obvious. And then I mean they kind of play with your expectations at the ending, but it's only one of two possible outcomes, really. I don't know if that's too much and spoiling it, but honestly, whatever. So Isaac and I both ended up giving this movie a 7 out of 10. It was a pretty enjoyable watch, but I think it was just missing too much. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Moving on to our next movie, Caught Stealing. I was super impressed by this. Every once in a while when I'm watching a movie, like some kind of a movie review like tagline or something will just pop into my head, like, oh yeah, that's a good description for this movie. And what popped into my head during this movie was, this movie doesn't capture your attention, it fucking arrests it. I was locked in during this movie. Everything was interesting. Every single scene was used and used correctly, and it blew me away. This was amazing. This was such a nice story. I was very, very close to giving this a higher number than what I went for, but I think for what it is, it's very, very good. Okay, all the acting, phenomenal. All the deaths that occur are very impactful, and I think my biggest problem with the story is no one really steals anything, and they don't get caught stealing anything. I don't know why it's called Caught Stealing, because like the main plot of the movie has nothing to do with stealing, because nothing's stolen, and no one gets caught stealing anything or caught doing any crime. So I don't know why it's called that. There's one part where someone catches something that was stolen from someone else, but that's more like a twist. Kind of. It's not the main part of the movie. So I don't know. But no, this was fantastic, phenomenal. I've been following this movie for about a year now, since I've seen leaked set photos of Matt Smith in a mohawk, and I was pretty damn satisfied with the results. Isaac and I both ended up giving this movie a very high 8 out of 10, and highly recommended. All right, my brother and I had the misfortune of seeing Run in theaters. Yep, that's right, the Alien movie. honestly, it's just hot garbage. It's one of the worst things I've seen in a theater, and it's probably the worst Alien movie I've ever seen. Um, I would implore you, instead of watching this movie, or I could ramble on a lot about this movie, but I think Possum Reviews did it a lot better, and you should just go watch that instead. Yeah, it's getting a fat stinking 1 from both me and Merrick. All right, guys, thank you for putting up with this crazy situation that we have. I promise Isaac doesn't get laryngitis all the time. This is the first time, as to my knowledge. So once he's over this, we'll finally be back into a normal schedule, but it's just really putting a damper on recording these videos and getting these videos out, and it's just really a whole thing, and I wish he would just get better at this point. But it slightly makes my recording and editing and uploading job easier in the long run, so at least there's that. Isaac will be back for the next spooky episode of the podcast, where we'll be taking a look at Bone Lake, we'll be taking a look at Good Boy, and we'll be taking a look at the newest installment in the Strangers franchise. The new franchise, not the old one, unfortunately. We did see Roofman as well, but it's not gonna fit with the other spooky movies, so we'll find somewhere to squeeze that in. So until next time, guys, that's a wrap, and Isaac is still not here to tell you to roll credits.